Welcome to Security Solutions 2024 Security Planning Webinar. All right, so let's look at the challenges. So number one challenge is data asset sprawl. Right? This is probably the biggest hole in security for most companies. We've got employees, partners, servers, applications, and data all moving to the cloud. The security model to protect distributed assets is dramatically different than the old centralized model. Regulations have always been the focus, but now qualifying for insurance is driving the need for more complexity. New attack methods that leverage the weakest link will still drive the latest attacks, with attackers leveraging weaknesses caused by user and configuration errors, distributed assets, and companies with 2020 security are going to be attacked by attackers with 2024 attack methods, including AI. Lastly, the need to get cross-system visibility and security is a challenge. Why is it a challenge? Because it requires different security and people than we had years ago. And why is it necessary? Because without it, we can't see complex attacks and we can't respond.
My name is Sean Banahan at WatchGuard. Getting into what we're seeing coming up in 2024, these are the four that I picked I think are probably growing the most from our perspective. The first is business email compromises. 90% of cyber attacks begin with a phishing email, and 65% of those are spear phishing emails. We're seeing hackers use publicly available C-level executive data to create these kind of convincing spoofs. We're seeing malicious virtual meeting invites, deepfake audio and visuals, credential attacks, lost, cracked, or stolen corporate credentials account for 49% of breaches. Threat actors are going to use brute force attacks, social engineering techniques, dark web markets, things like that to go and pull these credentials. The amount of ransomware grew by 627%, and it accounted for 34% of all cyber insurance claims in 2022. The last one is kind of something that's been on the rise lately, and that's living off the land attacks. And these are just where hackers are actually using legitimate system software and functions to launch attacks behind the network. They're often fileless, they're usually script-based, and they're usually originating at the endpoint. So an endpoint protection system is going to be critical to address those.
My name's Raimi Bailey at Trend Micro, and today we're going to be covering risk to resilience and leading with cybersecurity risk management. We have to navigate the growing attack surface. Your attack surface is the intersection between cyber assets and attack vectors, essentially all entry points for unauthorized access into a system. These cyber assets can include physical desktops, AVD, user accounts, SaaS applications, mobile devices, cloud assets, and IoT devices. In these attack vectors, ransomware, compromised credentials, phishing attacks, vulnerabilities in code, etc. can take place. This growth in the attack surface is exponential and creates an added challenge for clients and partners alike on how to effectively manage the growing attack surface.
So for our next speaker, we have Mike Colby from Risk Recon.
Let's talk a little bit about your attack surface, right? What is it? What does that look like? Really, the attacks are starting out in the ecosystem. You need to take a big picture approach, right? You've got to look at your vendors and into your supply chain, right? That's really where a lot of these threats are going to be coming from. Insurance company, they will not insure you unless you've shown, yes, your own due diligence. Are you doing the right things to make sure that you're secure? But they're looking at your vendors now as well. You can be secure, but are all the other vendors that you're doing business with secure? Ransomware, it's adapting. Okay, so there's ransomware as a service. That's big business. There's supply chain enabled ransomware. So think Kaseya and MoveIt. These attacks are getting larger and more common, and you're still going to be vulnerable depending on the security of your vendors, and that's the visibility you need to have.
Hey everyone, this is Ian Ray here at Fortinet. Complexity is slowing down customers' digital initiatives in terms of securing their people, their processes, and their data. The landscape for where those resources are residing is ever growing. The other aspect of it is where users and devices reside. The evolution of where IT and security and networking kind of merged together has obviously grown pretty complex. And so one of the biggest challenges we see, trend of too many IT or too many security stacks, too many vendors to manage, not to mention growing with the consistent skill shortage when it comes to cybersecurity as a whole. Obviously leaves a lot of gaps in terms of what you actually have control over.
Just to summarize, though, top level solutions that we're recommending: number one, make sure that you have an optimized security roadmap, which means defining your gaps, prioritizing them, defining your solutions, and prioritizing them. Providing a top level security monitoring, detection, and response solution is a necessary solution if you really want to elevate your security beyond disparate sort of solutions. And security can help in terms of reducing costs, increasing your security, adding next-gen solutions, cloud security, zero trust to support and address the data sprawl issues. And then, of course, leveraging the vendor solutions that are increasingly XDR type solutions, so they're integrated within their own product line. And then lastly, redundant email security. That's now how we can help you with your 23 year end security and 2024 planning. And we'd love to talk to you about that and put out a roadmap of how we can work together.